There are so many reasons to love the Apothecary Diaries, and maybe one day I'll get to them all. I'm talking about the art, the plot and the mysteries, the main character, the world building, the history. Like, all of it is chef's kiss, right? Mwah. Everything about that show is immaculate. And for some reason, I just feel really compelled to talk about it. For an entire year, I have not been able to get the Apothecary Diaries out of my head. And with season two literally right around the corner, my infatuation and obsession is at full force yet again. And this idea that's been poking me in the head for quite a while, I don't know, I just feel like it's time to talk about it. And it's MaoMao's relationship with women. So, are you ready? Let's get cozy. Let's just talk about a few musings that I have. Female relationships are sacred, important, and powerful. And the Apothecary Diaries casts a lot of women. I haven't watched a show featuring this many women since Quintessential Quintuplets. Second behind that is Horimiya, so let's pretend that that's my actual answer. So you could guess why the Apothecary Diaries is a meaningful moment for me. And creator Inuyaka said it best when she said that MaoMao is a girl's girl. Because she really is. But even before that, MaoMao's been impacted by so many women from an early stage in her life, so it's not completely shocking that she supports women. Her early life was with her father, the woman. She didn't have a relationship with her mother, but her father was also a supportive physician at the Verdigris house. However, growing up at and adjacent to a brothel meant she was constantly in close proximity to women. So the women at the brothel, Verdigris house, are her family, enough so that the elite three princesses are considered her adoptive sisters. And the owner of the brothel is an elderly woman who plays the role of a maternal grandmother for MaoMao. I'm not sure if this is considered found family, since they've been there, loving and supporting her since the day she was born. They just aren't blood family. Once MaoMao gets sold to the real palace, her relationship with the elite women of the emperor's consort take very different turns compared to that of the three princesses. And there are spoilers ahead, so be wary if you haven't seen season 1. One of the relationships is incredibly friendly, one earned out of respect, one out of vulnerability and honesty, and one out of, interestingly enough, some sort of sisterly bond, MaoMao getting to be an older sister. Episode 12 spoiler. The latest consort has an extremely arrogant and standoffish vibe, so we can't fully place her relationship with MaoMao just yet. We see MaoMao start these rear palace relationships from scratch, by accident, and even with great resistance. She can't help herself to help, even if it'll cost her her life. And this is where things take an interesting turn, because she actively uses her brothel exposure to navigate the rear palace. The lessons she's learned from her big sisters, how she's seen women discarded living in the red light district, aka the pleasure district, and actively choosing to fly under the radar while also knowing her role as someone of a lowly birth. The cause and effect in Apothecary Diaries is strong. Every decision and action by MaoMao has a reason, and I believe these reasons stem from the women in her life. Now, massive spoilers next, because it's time to talk about her mother. We can't say that every decision and action by MaoMao has a reason, and these reasons stem from women, without addressing the elephant in the room, her mother. This relationship is a doozy. And I use air quotes because dating, if they even have a relationship at all, is a debate in and of itself. And if you're still here, it's because you've seen season 1, or you don't care about spoilers. So it's fine to say that MaoMao's mother, Feng Xian, wasn't too thrilled after she gave birth, harmed her infant, contracted syphilis, and has been in some sort of state of psychosis for the last few years. Yeah, that's a lot. And in present day, MaoMao still visits this woman, coming to look after her do some gentle caretaking, and otherwise sit with her at times. Previously, the woman would even chase MaoMao out of the room. It's challenging to argue if this is a relationship or not. MaoMao says she doesn't have a mother, and puts it bluntly, Fengxian doesn't remember even being a mother. One could argue this is a relationship, even if it's one-sided, but someone else could argue that you need two people for a relationship. Either way, this thing is something. Cambridge defines relationship as the way in which two things are connected. So yeah, MaoMao and Fengxian are connected, but that connection isn't a mother-daughter relationship. Fengxian is the woman who birthed MaoMao. With MaoMao's long list of other active and supportive relationships, this one relationship just stood out to me. And how could this relationship not have an impact on MaoMao's very way of being? In episode 24, we know from an early age that she believes she's the reason Vertiger's house has lost its reputation. The blame is squarely placed on her birth parents, but I wonder if this entire situation placed a burden of responsibility on MaoMao's shoulders. I think each group of women showcases a different phase or pillar of MaoMao's life and personality. Fengxian represents her dedication and loyalty. We see a MaoMao committed to each mystery and puzzle week after week with an unwavering passion to find answers. The three princesses represent nurturing and learning. Her sister Paiden breastfed her, for crying out loud. And yes, the woman taught her so much about medicine and being an apothecary, but the three princesses in the brothel gave her all of her basic education, I assume. And the rear palace consorts and concubines represent growth, respect, and pragmatism. The rear palace constantly has its problems to solve and requests to fulfill, and instead of being her dad's assistant at home or a cleaning servant, we see MaoMao calmly analyze situations, earn respect from her actions, and ultimately puts to practice the intelligence she's acquired and or was born with. It's probably an obvious understatement and low-key clickbaity to say that the Apothecary Diaries wouldn't be the same without these relationships. But in a beautiful show like this, with interesting medicinal and criminal mysteries to solve, plus the romantic slow burn that we've got going on back there, I think this point could actually get lost in the shuffle. An actual understatement would be to say that I'm just really excited for season 2. How will these relationships grow? What new trials will be in their way? Will we see new relationships blossom? Old ones disintegrate? If anything, I believe season 2 will provide and solidify my point. The Apothecary Diaries could have been another smart protagonist solves mysteries brilliantly, week after week type of show, if not for MaoMao's relationships and respect for women. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all back at the Rear Palace. Cheers.